these days, it's just easier to kick that other thing over at about 5 seconds and not even worry about trying to get down toward the bottom where I never time it right anyway. So I just whack that thing at the 5 second mark and then it is over. Good morning, everybody. I'm Captain Tommy Scogle and you are on the lifeboat. You know what? So, damn it. Sorry. My device is freaking out because it says it can't read the thing on my chest, and it's about 2 feet away from me. It's always 2 feet away from me. It never changes. It just occasionally likes to give me that thing and scare the heck out of everybody. But all right. Hope everybody had a good night. Since the day we started the lifeboat, there's been this discussion of kind of those of us that wound up addicted or unable to control a substance or an action. And those of us who didn't, and those of us that didn't, we tend to refer to often as normies. And truth be told, I'm not sure that that's all of that. Yeah, sometimes it does pay to have insomnia. Good to see you, SPTV Warrior. Do you know what? You talk about binge watching some Lifeboat. SPTV Warrior has probably seen now at least half as much as anyone has ever seen, if not more, just tearing through it, which is really, really cool. From the very early days, we had the normies, and now we have a group of normies, air quotes, that hang out here on the Lifeboat, which is awesome because their perspective is fantastic and it helps. It really does. However, there's no such freaking thing as a normie anymore. Snot face, good to see you. No such thing as a normie anymore. Plain and simple. There isn't. And the reason I say that is there is nobody on the planet today that is not addicted to one of two things that we all seem to be falling into. And that would, of course, be the cell phone. But more importantly, even in places where cell phones aren't, the largest addiction on planet Earth is to sugar. And we did shows on this in the past, but it's been a hot minute. This is a Dr. Pepper, but it could be a Coca-Cola, right? It would just be a sugary beverage in a can. Coca-Cola. And there are a lot of people. The last time we did this, there was somebody that said to me, I drink 2-liter Coke bottles a day. Wrap your dome around that. One of those 12-ounce cans has a troy ounce of sugar in it. It has 33 grams of sugar in a 12-ounce Coca-Cola. 33 grams. Hello, kitty. 33 grams of sugar. Just for a little perspective, for those of you who drink coffee and you say, how do you like your coffee, right? Do you like it with sugar? Yeah. You know what? 2 teaspoons, 3 teaspoons. Would you put in 12? Would you put in 12 teaspoons? Because that's 33 grams of sugar. Do you think you'd be happy just going 1, 2, 3, 4? Yeah, how you doing? Right? Just sitting there shoveling sugar in at the little coffee bar thing while people stared at you like, what is wrong with this person? But that's what we do every single time we drink a can of Coke. 33 grams of sugar. Let me tell you something. Do you have any idea how much that is over what you're supposed to have in a day? And that's of all sugars, not added sugars and all of the other stuff. She is in an exploring mood. Sadly, the desk has all of these cool little pockets that if you're a cat, you would just rather be there than any other place in the world. It's just one of those things. And now she's laying down in the basket, and it's the I will lull Tommy to sleep by laying here. And as soon as he gets on a point, I'm just bolting for the back. So I had to turn her backwards. There are no more normies. 33 grams of sugar. People, you say, I don't drink Coke. I did away with all of that stuff. I'm not doing any of those things that have a ton of sugar in them. Why? I respect that. I really do. And I think that you can get a lot healthier if you start looking at things like that. You know, what's in my diet? I got to stop drinking things like Coke, something that has 33 grams, a troy ounce of sugar in every single damn soda. The last time we did this, I weighed out 33 grams of sugar and I put it in a bag and I held it up so that people can see it. However, people took that little clip of film and had a really good time with it. So I'm probably not going to allow that to happen again. But it is about that much sugar at the bottom of a Ziploc sandwich bag, all the way across. And when you heft it, you got to be kidding. And if that were the case, and if that's what we were doing all of the time, that would suck, right? But now we're not using 33 grams of granulated sugar. We're using a sugar substitute called high fructose corn syrup, right? If something ends in OSE, there's a really good chance it's a sugar product, right? Sucrose, dextrose, any of those oses, right? But if you try cutting this stuff out of your diet, trying to get a diet that doesn't have high fructose corn syrup in it is almost impossible. Start looking on the back of the things that you buy, and they put it in almost everything. Number one, it is cheap to make, but that's not why they use it. They use it because it does something different in the brain. They use it because it's addicting. I kid you not. But what this does that is different than regular sugar is how fast it takes somebody into that dopamine hit and then how fast they crash. And when they crash, they grab the next 33-gram shot of sugar. And they start doing this one. And they start riding this roller coaster of just unbelievable peaks and valleys throughout an entire day. And if you start saying, hey, I'm looking at this stuff, right? I'm not buying things that have sugar in them anymore. I look for added sugar, right? Because you don't want added sugar. There's sugar in things. If you're eating an apple, you'd be really surprised at how much sugar is in an apple. You'd be blown away at how much sugar is in an orange. But these are sugar that comes from Mother Nature. It's usually tied up in a load of fiber, and it's pretty good stuff, right? So you say, I'll do that kind of sugar. I'll do the kind of sugar that is found in the foods that I eat. I don't want you heaping high fructose corn syrup on top of the things that I eat. And you say, well, if I just avoid sweet things, I don't have anything to worry about, right? Like they're not going to put high fructose corn syrup in my salsa, right? Or they're not going to put high fructose corn syrup in something like a ramen, right? Well, you start to realize when you look on the back of things that they put this in things that don't make any sense. Corn chips? Why do corn chips have high fructose corn syrup in them? Would you like a little sweetener in your corn chip? Doesn't make a lot of sense. Why would they do that? For the same reason that they would put fentanyl in cocaine, right? Well, it's not really a great, mix, but it's addicting. And it doesn't take a whole lot of it to force you to come back because you're going up and then you're crashing. You're going up and then you're crashing. So you'll keep coming back. You say, Tommy, I am done with that. You're not listening. I'm flipping over the back of things. I'm reading everything. Do you know that sugar is listed 58 different ways on the back of labeling? You do not have to call it sugar. You do not have to call it high fructose corn syrup. You can call it 56 other things. How about that? Let's take a look at some of them just for giggles, shall we? Or let's hope that we can find it because I had it a moment ago. Here we go. Agave nectar. Like you might have seen that one coming. How about barley malt or beet sugar or blackstrap molasses, brown rice sugar, brown sugar, buttered syrup? Because who doesn't dig buttered syrup? I'm not going to lie to you. I just want to try buttered syrup. I don't even know. I mean, buttered syrup? It's just bizarre. Cane crystals. One of my favorites, Florida crystals. Are you getting some Florida crystals in your stuff? Caramel, carob syrup, castor syrup, coconut sugar, or coconut palm sugar. Same stuff. Corn sweetener, that would be your high fructose. Corn syrup or corn syrup solids, which is just date sugar. Dehydrated cane juice, dextrose, evaporated cane juice, fruit juice, or fruit concentrate. If it says that it has in it fruit juice or fruit concentrate, those are just really cool words for sugar. Crazy, right? Crazy. Maltodextrin, maple syrup, molasses, muscovado sugar. How about the rapadura? If you look on the back of the of your label and you see the old rapadura, turbinado sugar, yellow sugar, xylose. You can keep going. Oh my goodness. Hello, Johnny. He's usually not up at this hour of the neck of the early morning time. This creates an epidemic throughout your day, whether you realize it or not. You get on this high fructose corn syrup roller coaster about the time you get up, because I don't care what you're eating, right? Unless you're making something at the house and you're cracking a few eggs yourself and throwing things in. But if you're going out into, say, the fast food world, or you're going to go just grab something at the 7-Eleven on the way to work or whatever, you have started the straight up and straight down crash that you will ride all day long on the sugar high that most Americans that most Americans do every day. We are the first culture in the history of humanity here in the good old US of A, where this year more people will die because of the fact that they are too heavy than they will die from starvation. People in our country die from eating too much, right? And it's an epidemic. When we were growing up, think about it. When we were growing up, I remember I was in a school of about maybe 106 kids in my graduating class. 106. It was either 106 or 160. It was not a very large graduating class, but we had one overweight student. We had one, and my brother right now knows exactly who I'm talking about. I'm not trying to pick on this person. And you know what? I was friends with this person my entire youth. And the last time I was up north, I went and saw him again. And it was kind of incredible because the guy had really come out of his shell. He was actually singing with a band, and he had a voice that was like butter. I was absolutely blown away because, you know a guy your whole youth, no one knew he could sing. And the guy can sing. Like, it was incredible. But anyway, out of 106 or 116 kids, we had one that was overweight. One. If that graduating class was today, there would be 40. What changed? Huh? When did all this crap start? How did this happen? This certainly didn't happen in the 50s. You go back to the 50s and you look around and nobody was overweight. It wasn't a thing. Certainly among kids. I mean, hell, everybody was too active to be overweight. You couldn't. It just wasn't a thing. But that thing started in 1980. That's when this thing started. Because you see, in 1980, the high fructose corn syrup craze started in the U.S. That was it. It was 1980. And from that moment on, they have been doing everything within their power to engineer the snack that you are eating so that you will continue to eat it. No BS. Like, this is studied. There's a reason that they love high fructose corn syrup, and it's because it makes people use more product. Does that sound creepy? Does it sound like what China's doing right now? Adding a little bit of Fent to everything? Well, it should, because it's the same concept. There is no difference whatsoever. The difference is everybody is on this, even the healthy people that think they're not. Well, I go out every week and I buy fruit juice. I'll take a real good look at the back of that fruit juice, right? For real. Take a good look at the back of that fruit juice because you'd be shocked how little fruit juice there is in any fruit juice. But there's a crap load of sugar. You know, if you can, people who do their own juicing and things like that, I mean, there are ways to be healthy. There really are. But even if you're stuck within this world of crap food that we're living in, you can still go out of your way to cut down dramatically on the amount of sugar that you have in your diet. And just one of the easiest ways in the entire world, even before you start what you eat, start with what you drink, right? Start knocking out and getting rid of sugary beverages. The vast majority of people in our country, here in America, drink them. The vast majority of people are drinking sugary beverages. And if you're a person listening to me right now who goes, don't trip, I drink diet, right? You're worse. No joke. The science will tell you straight out, you're doing way more damage to yourself drinking the diet stuff than you are drinking the regular stuff. And I know right now people are listening to me going, no. Yeah, it really does. The crazy thing is, because of how sweet the sweeteners are and because of what that does in our brain, it has the exact opposite effect that you're shooting for. You're drinking a diet beverage because you think this is going to help me lose weight. This is going to, help me. What it does is it makes you crave more stuff throughout the entire day. And if what you continue to give that is more and more diet beverage, there's some heavy chemicals and that stuff that are really not good for you. We dated, we drove, we lived. Today, the one kid doesn't date at all, and they get their driver's license at 20. We got it the day we turned 16. And we talked about it for the 6 months before the day we turned 16, right? I mean, that was your second dose of freedom. That first dose of freedom had 2 wheels. Like I remember getting my first bike and it was all over. Like there was no longer the ability to tie me down and I could cruise all over town because we lived in a very rural place. And if you had a bike, I mean, you could get around, everywhere. You could get anywhere in the city because the city was this big and had very few people in it. But that was the first dose of freedom. And the car was the second. And it was a huge deal. It really was. It was a huge deal. But he's right. Those days are over. People don't go to proms anymore, right? They sit in front of these devices, right? The other thing that everybody now on earth is addicted to, right? Is the smartphone, which they're putting in the hands of everybody on the planet. Everybody on the planet. Their goal is to have a cell phone in the hands of every single person on planet Earth. And I used to do a presentation years ago as a public speaker, and I don't even remember what it was for because I probably used this in more than one presentation. But there was a quote at the time, and this was in the 90s, and you would say, it was a charity that I did with my brother and a bunch of other people, and he knows what I'm talking about. But we went around the world and fed meals to homeless kids and things. But one of the questions that we used to say is, what percentage of people on the planet today do you think will never use a phone? As in ever pick one up, ever talk on it, ever dial on it, ever use a phone? And the people in the room would be like, 3%, 4%. And at the time it was 35. At the time, there was like 35% of the planet they said would be born and would die without using a telephone, much less a cell phone. But nowadays, I don't think there's anywhere. We know a guy that was building a product for Africa and was struggling to get people to buy this product, and it was solar related, and it's a great product. You would think, oh, I can't believe those aren't selling. They put a charging port as part of the solar deal onto the product. So not only would this thing, do what it needed to do, but it would also charge a cell phone, and it would do all of this without a cord. So people without power, and then these things started flying off the shelves like this. Because the problem isn't that they can't get a signal. The problem is they can't get electricity, right? The ability to charge those phones become an issue. But now people all over the world, right? We've shrunk the world down pretty quickly with that other addicting device, And you say there are normies that are going to hear this that go, well, I use my phone. I'm not addicted to it. You know what I mean? We're talking about two completely different things. Right? Addiction is something, I use it a lot and I lean on it. I'm not addicted to it. Trust me, I'm not addicted to it. I can hear people right now saying that. I'm not addicted to this. You got it messed up. But I use it, and it's a big part of what my life is, but I'm not addicted to it. Okay. I believe it. I believe it. Try to go, say, 48 hours without it. Go 48 hours without using your cell phone. Don't touch it. Turn that bad boy off. Stick it in a drawer and don't touch it for 48 hours. And then come on back to the lifeboat and let me know how that worked out. For real. Let me know how that worked out. I want to hear. And I can say the same thing with the sugar. Go ahead and try to knock any sugar out of your diet. Go for 0 sugar, right? For, say, 48 hours. Really, you would really have to struggle to do this. It would be very hard to do unless you were just buying things, like meats and vegetables and cooking yourself. Because if you're buying anything that's packaged, you're going to get it. But if you cut all sugar out of your diet and you do it for 24 to 48 hours, do you know what will happen? Seriously? You will get a headache like you have never felt. You will. I did this. You will get a headache like you would not believe. It's like a caffeine headache, but it's worse. It's considerably worse. And you say, well, I really don't use that much. Yes, you do. Trust me, you do. Especially if you live here. If you live in where we live, trust me, there's way more of this in your diet than you need. There should be a national holiday where they talk about this every year, Johnny. I just don't think that they're particularly good at organizing, because there's been a couple of years since I got out of prison that people have talked about, this is it. This is going to be the one day, or the, whatever, this Tuesday, right? Tweet free and blah, blah, blah. Truth is, we've become so dependent on them. And I'm not lecturing you because I'm not dependent on mine. Right? Don't get it messed up. I'm just pointing out things that we're all in the middle of. If this thing turns off while I'm driving, like, I'm screwed. I just moved to a new city, and everybody in my family will tell you, I try to go everywhere without the GPS. Like, I want to learn where I'm living. And in the old days, man, you'd move someplace, you would drive through town twice, right? You would know where everything was. Honestly, like the whole layout of the town, you could draw it out in your head. And now I'm just not that cat. It takes considerable effort now to memorize things like streets and whatever. But I don't want to be dependent on the phone. 4.5 to 5 years ago was the last time, or 4.5 years ago was the last time Johnny went a day without uploading a video. That almost makes you Mark Pyers. I think he's about the same period of time, isn't he? He's gone along a hot minute without except I've never heard you mention that before, I don't think, but I've heard him talk about it. But yeah, that's a long time. But you're definitely addicted to it. And you know what? I'm addicted to it. People crack jokes about that all the time. He doesn't even realize he's addicted. I don't. When the hell did I ever say I didn't think I was addicted to this? Trust and believe I realize I'm addicted to this. Trust and believe I know I'm addicted to the lifeboat. I just don't think it's all that bad an addiction. And my thing is, if addictions are ruining your life, and if you're addicted to chemicals or you're addicted to habits that are making your life worse, then you really need to take a good look at them. There are people who might argue that the lifeboat is making my life worse. I don't think it is. I'm pretty darn fond of what the lifeboat is doing for me. I get quite a bit out of it. So I'm just gonna we'll keep chugging along on this. But I never used drugs, but once decided to cut sugar, cigarettes, coffee, sugar, meat for a month. Holy mackerel. I stopped in one day and the sugar was the worst to handle. There's no way you were going to do it for a month. That's a tall order, my friend. I'm very impressed. I can't imagine quitting one of those all at once for a month, right? But to quit all of them, boy, that would have been a day. Sounds about right. I think that happens to a lot of us. Even the first time a lot of people say, I'm just going to stop drinking coffee. And, talk to an inmate about that. They'll always tell you, because inmates drink maybe 8 or 9, huge 16-ounce tumblers of coffee a day. It's like everybody does it. And then they throw you in the shoe and you get no coffee. You can get it within, say, a week, but in that first week, it gets bad. Our generation was the last one who left the house in the morning without a phone, right? Yeah. Well, close to our generation. I think it's probably a generation or two after ours. We're still doing that, but not too far after ours. I mean, we had cell phones. We even had cell phones when we were young. They just didn't work very well. You know what I mean? Like I remember having a phone in that carry case thing, and that was like maybe 1990, 1989. Like we had phones a long, long time ago. They just really sucked. Even the Motorola Brick, which was a way cooler phone, was still a terrible phone. Yeah. Johnny makes a good point. If you edit videos, you could never pull that off. Like Aaron, our friend over at Growing Up in Scientology, puts up a lot of content. We do. Johnny certainly does. Live content allows you to put up so much more stuff. I mean, you can be the Grateful Dead or the Ramones, where you just do so many shows that are out there. I'm sorry, people. I was going to Navage on the air this morning. I'm going to have to do that. I'll probably do that on tonight or tomorrow's show. You should see the look the cat's giving me. Like her eyes are this big and her head's back. Like, what was that noise? The other day, Trainee Human, always good to see you on a live feed, brother. He's on the other side of the planet, and with work and everything else, we don't always run into you, but it's really good to see you. Hey, Rick Smith. Good to see you. I didn't get my first cell phone or smartphone until 2016. You are smarter than me, and that is the reason for that. What I did was not a good idea. I'll tell you from Gem Street, right? I was not better off for all of my attachments to technology. Plain and simple. I don't know of any other way to put it. I've never been better off because of it. Lady Crispin says, well, I'll be here for the nose flushing. Lady Crispin, good to see you. Always nice to see you in the live chat. Lady Crispin has done as much for the lifeboat as I have. All of the organization and everything all of the things I couldn't handle, Lady Crispin has been kind enough to take care of, and we appreciate that a lot of her. But her comedic timing is perfect too. Like if I was talking about Navage, of course she showed up. I've been talking about foul fish, or I'll tell you something, people. There is an event coming up in the very near future. That it's going to be Disgust Fest 2023, and with special guests and all kinds of cool stuff. Giggity. Chunks will be blown, right? Seriously. Skeeve will happen. It's going to be, it's really going to be a pretty good time. We're very much looking forward to it. So, but I like, as much as you don't want to see people trying to enslave people through products. It's pretty low budget stuff, and you'd like to think that those of us in the free world, and I don't just mean our country, I'm talking about, Europe and all, most of the world, right? You would just like to think that there weren't companies out there that are engineering their products to make them more addicting. Sadly, we know that that's not the case. We know that most assuredly all of the companies that are putting high fructose corn syrup into their products for no other reason, like corn chips or, Doritos have high fructose corn syrup in them. That doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't. I mean, it's not adding to the mix. There's so often that high fructose corn syrup is put into something where its presence there has nothing to do with flavoring. I mean, it's really obvious if it's something that is kind of sweet. You go, okay, I can see that. But people in the food world will tell you it literally is added to absolutely everything, right? They add it to everything. And that's, that there's a reason for that. It's not healthy. And, we kind of have this thing in our head like, well, it's always been that way. You know what I mean? Look, it didn't kill us, right? Well, you know what? It didn't touch us, right? That crap started in 1980. So by the time that rolled around, thank God, but by the time that rolled around, a lot of us were through our formative years, right? We weren't raised and born and bred on high fructose corn syrup. And if you're after that, if you were born after that, then there's a chance. I mean, there are definitely people who are born into the high fructose corn generation. Now, if you are not in the United States, you are not quite the same high fructose corn generation, because it is so much worse here than it is anywhere else in the world. I am actually in a place now. I do not drink sugar beverages, and I have not. I haven't in a really, really long time. Like, I'll drink an energy drink from time to time, but I'm not a consumer. I don't drink Coca-Cola. I quit that years ago. I don't drink anything like that. It's just not my thing at all. Right. I'm not into the sugar water. Fortunately, I can say that that's something that I have cut out of my life all but completely. And I feel considerably healthier for it. And it's a pretty easy thing to cut out, right? It's a pretty easy thing to knock out of your diet is at least the liquid forms of this stuff, right? Just stop putting stuff in the body, especially for liquid. Holy hell! Just, you know what? If you switch to water, number one, the amount of money that you're going to save. But think about saving 33 grams of sugar per can of soda, right? We got a mathematician in the room. Figure, let's say you drink one of those a day, right? Let's see. We'll pull up a calculator just to scare the hell out of everybody here. This will be fun. If you go 33 grams times 7 days, right? That's 231 grams of sugar, right? So if you multiply that by 52 weeks, you are at 12,000, right? 12,000 and 12 troy ounces of sugar. 12,000 ounces of sugar, right? You're talking about at roughly 500 grams a pound, 12,000. So what, 12? We're talking about a crap load of sugar in your diet. If you just cut out drinking that one can of soda a day, the amount of every 2 weeks, it's a pound of sugar. Every 2 weeks, it's just under, right? Every 2 weeks, it's just under a pound of sugar that you're putting into your body. Well, there's a shocker. I just can't seem to lose weight, Doc. I'm working out, right? I'm eating better. I just can't seem to lose weight. Well, maybe it's that pound of sugar that you consume a month drinking. That's not a tough one to cut out, right? It's not a tough one to cut out. Switch to water. You will feel better. Dramatically, you will feel better. Not the first day. you're not going to feel better the first day. You're going to feel like crap for the first 2 or 3. Why? Because you're in withdrawal. Crazy, right? But that's no BS. That's what's happening. You're in withdrawal. Your body feels like it's rejecting an organ because it's waiting for you to give it a big dose of sugar, right? In the form of high fructose corn syrup. Straight up, straight down. Straight up, straight down. And when you're straight down, what do you want? More. You always want more, right? I'll tell you something else. You would be astounded the amount of sugar that's in booze. For those of you whose substance of choice is alcohol and you're cutting that out of your life, wait until you see the weight dropping off you. Literally. We see this one a lot where somebody was, they were beer drinkers, or they drink wine or whatever, just a ton of sugar, but calories, right? The number of calories, it's stuff you don't think about when you're young and you go out and you drink, 10 or 12 beers, or you drink 15 beers. And then you start thinking, you get older and you look on the calories on the back of a can and you go, I drank how many of those? Think of how many calories it was. Like we would go out and live our life, eat a dinner, a real meal, right? All those calories. And then we'd go drink, 6,000 calories or 5,000 calories. As you start to get older, dandelion marmalade. Well, that's just freaking fascinating. I'm sorry. Now I'm going to spend a whole lot of time trying to figure out what dandelion marmalade would taste like. I have a marmalade thing. There are people that don't like marmalade. Mama Scoville is not a marmalade fan. I don't think Sister Scoville was. It may have just been the guys. Papa Scoville was a huge, huge fan of marmalade. And a lot of people in my family didn't like it. And in fact, if it probably wasn't for me and my brother, they probably would have run it out of the house. But even like from a really young age, I think from the very first time I tasted marmalade, I thought it was awesome. Just really good stuff. I should think it would make it extra yellow. Does it affect the taste? Was kind of where I was going with that. Fee. Soda is not my problem. I only drink it about one. Let's see here. I'm going to blow this up. It's going to shake the screen. Sorry, people. Soda is not my problem. I only drink about 1 or 2 liters a month. It goes flat before I finish it. I eat healthy a couple of weeks a month. And then at the end of the month, when I run out of money, I eat pasta. You know what, Z-Dub? This is something that I hear from so many people. I hear this from so many people that, you know what? If we've got cash, we tend to eat really good, right? If we have money, we tend to eat really good. But if we don't, you're funny as hell, Fiona. Doesn't taste at all like that. I had enough sugar. Bum. Well played. We didn't set that up ahead of time. Water with fresh lemon throughout the day. 10% lemon, says Seagull Rock Squawk. You know what, Seagull? You're not the first person that I've heard say that exact same mix. What is the reasoning behind that mix? Because people put that in the comment section all the time. What's the deal with the 10%? What is it that it's doing for us? Oh, Lord. Did somebody just compare marmalade and Vegemite? Yeah. That's like saying I'm a pizza fan. I kind of prefer pizza to slamming my fingers in a car door. Yeah, I'm going to go with the pizza. It's the marmalade versus Vegemite comparison. It regulates body pH. Are you referring to? Oh, that's what the lemon does. Interesting. Thank you, full of hope. ZW says, yes, I drink distilled water and have the Monster. The rest of the month, I drink Brita water with fresh lemon. There you go. It also cleans the arteries. I didn't know that. I did not know that. I knew where you were going with that, not Jennifer Rice. I knew that you were going with the clean, the acid and the lemon juice. I got you. So it's 10% because I love lemon, right? And I have a lemon tree, and I can see myself drinking, water with like, fresh lemon juice in it throughout the day. I think I could see myself doing that. They're not fully bloomed. I can't do it yet with my own lemons, but I'll be able to do it at the end of the season. Anik Alexander says lemon also helps to detoxify the liver. I hope everybody heard that because there is nobody here that does not need to detoxify their liver. Boltneck says a small swig of apple cider vinegar is good for a lot of things too. I've heard that from so many people, but you remember that pizza and slamming my fingers in the car door analogy? I think I'd rather slam my fingers in the car door than drink apple cider or cider vinegar. Here's the thing. I don't know what cider vinegar will smell like, but there's a thing with heroin addicts and vinegar. Like we have a real thing about the smell of vinegar smells like tar heroin. Like it smells exactly like it. And it's I can't get really close to the stuff. Like it's a vicious trigger. It's one of those triggers that can get me from like phase 1 of relapse. I will skip phase 1 altogether and will automatically be in phase 2 of relapse. Like I smell that and I'm already romanticizing. I'm already doing all of the stupid stuff. I'm past mental and already into emotional, and it's all bad. Let's go further. It helps you absorb iron from vitamin C. So what you're saying is I should just continue. I should definitely do the lemon thing. Yeah, I absolutely could be very happy just adding lemon juice to water. I dig lemon juice. I keep a 5-ounce shot glass next to my apple cider vinegar. You do 5 ounces of that, Sev? That's disturbing, dude. I'm sorry. I hope Johnny's here because he just laughed really hard when I said that. I'm sorry. I can't possibly imagine drinking 5 ounces. Ugh. I'm not even kidding you, man. Like I really just got that. Oh, that, like that just really bummed me out. Oh, I could taste it and feel it. 5 ounces of that, I would hurl all over the place. I promise you. I know, Lady Crispin, it's half of the medications that they had me taking. It says don't take grapefruit juice. Johnny. I heard good things about apple cider, but the smell, one day I'll try it. Well, tell you what, Betty Zoom, when you try it, do 2 ounces instead of 1. That way you can try it for the both of us. Because no, it's not happening here. Right, correct. Very, very, very good. Full of Hope says if you're on blood thinners, everybody hear that? Blood thinners and grapefruit do not mix. And I am on a pile of them since my most recent problems in the hospital with my heart. I'm on a whole. There are several blood thinners that they've got me on now. I've known people in my past that actually used to use vinegar on crack cocaine to render it back to a shootable state. Never could bear the thought of vinegar in the veins. Tommy Bird, I hate to say this out loud, right? But we are this channel. I used to do that all the time, but I used to do it with lemon juice. Same way. You would just take a little bit of lemon juice and water in it, but I would bring crack back to a bangable form by using lemon juice. In fact, in the really early days, like the China white that they used to have on the street, back in the day wouldn't break down in water. Like if it was good, you'd put water on top of it, and it wouldn't. You couldn't get it to break down at all. So putting the flame to it wasn't going to do anything because the dope and the water wouldn't mix, and you would have to squeeze lemon juice onto it, and that would make the whole concoction of the water and the China white mix up so that you could put flame to it. And there was a period of time where, I'm not kidding you, like every single user in the city of New York and in the Northeast had a little lemon squeeze ball on them at all times, because the stuff that was coming in, you just could not do. You couldn't do it without lemon juice. Or you'd see people and they'd go, "Hey man, you got one of those little squeeze lemons?" "Yes, I do." You know what I mean? Didn't want to leave the house without one of those because there's probably a good chance you could get a buzz just by having it. I guess a really, really good thing to do is drink hot water with apple cider vinegar, lemon, and a little baking soda at night before you go to bed. I've heard that recipe as well, ZW. Once again, though, the problem is it's a terrible mix. Like everything you just listed. Like I don't mind the lemon, but I don't know. I that vinegar thing. Olive oil. Wasn't she Popeye's really thin girlfriend? Huh? You know who looks like olive oil? Ilea. And before you say, "Oh, you're being mean," or this or that, she sent me a picture of her dressed as olive oil for Halloween. And I want to tell you something. You want to see the most perfect, I mean, perfect olive oil you've ever seen? Our one of our mods, Ilea, is just, I mean, she is the perfect. I saw it and just thought, damn, she could win a competition. She just looks fantastic. She's the perfect olive. Spoon of baking soda and a bit of water for heartburn. Do you know what I used to use for heartburn when I was in prison? Just bought a $40 bottle of extra virgin olive oil from really ugly olives. I'm sorry, that was another joke for one, I think. Baking soda and vinegar will turn you into a model volcano. That is so funny. You will become a high school science project if you mix the two of those. Oh, baking soda and vinegar will turn you into a model volcano. Oh, that is so funny. Holy mackerel, isn't that funny? That really is. I'm sorry. That one knocks me down. The recipe Swin gave is the same one that I used for a volcano for kids. See, there you go, right? It's the same. That would scare the heck out of me, right? That's the recipe? You going to swallow that? I've seen what happens. It foams all over the place and comes out of the top of the little model. I've seen that show many times. My husband moved here from Japan, 28 years old. Damn. 28 years old, 140 pounds. 35 years later, 200 pounds, USA. Hot water with flaxseed helps with weight loss, appetite control, and when you add cayenne pepper, it helps burn fat. This is why my brother, Johnny Scoville, could eat 14 pizzas a day and never worry about becoming an overweight kind of cat, because the amount of capsaicin in that man's diet is frightening. Right? Like he can't possibly gain weight because of the whole thing. So I think that there is something to the whole cayenne pepper and weight loss. It puts you into that thermogenic, whatever they call that, right? Somebody smart. Where is the not really Jennifer? Right? Where is that? I am a linseed gal. Great to keep the bowels clean, and there's nothing wrong with that. Also, we eat a lot more than just rice and yeah, we do, right? Flaxseed works best when soaked overnight. Good to know. Good to know. Good to know. Hello, Betty Zoom. Hello, Betty Zoom. Goodbye, heart. Sweet Betty Zoom, I'm so in love with you. Isn't that what it is? Well, hello, Mary Lou. Goodbye, heart. Lemon water with cucumber and mint is great. Cucumber helps with hydration, and the mint helps with weight. I'll be damned. And I like both of those things. Hello, Heather Joy. Any oil will clean the pipes. Oh, excellent. Full of hope. I'm putting that one up there. Do you know why? Because I think that might be the most important one of all, and I really do believe that. Balake Richardson says, I take my Centrum for men. Turmeric. I saw the word turmeric. Got a split. Love you all. Stay strong. Thank you, Johnny. Have a great day, would you? I take my Centrum for men. Turmeric, magnesium, zinc, vitamin D3, omega-3, black seed oil, and I think you meant flaxseed oil, and vitamin C every morning. Never felt better. Good for you, Balake. I like that. I've been hearing about something lately called a keto diet. What do you think about that? Do you mean keto or keto? I know the keto diet. I'm not sure if that's the same thing as the keto diet. The keto diet could have been that guy that lived with O.J. Simpson, and I believe his diet was nothing but pizza purchased by other people. He was a kind of a professional couch surfer. Anybody remember Kato Kalin? Huh? Can I get a flashback? Kato Kalin? Anybody? Anybody? Bueller. Sorry. Just reading. I started making it because it said it helped clear mucus. Well, maybe I ought to make some of that. No, because then I couldn't bust out with the Navage. I will be Navaging on the one of the next shows. Apparently, I should have done it today. Actually, what I really should have done was yesterday, because yesterday I had it locked and loaded. I had the thing already loaded up and ready to go before one of the shows. Because the joke is that somebody. Aaron has the same problem. He's always sniffling, and he said something about, I feel like I need a neti pot, but I don't think it would be good YouTube to do a neti pot on the air. And I think he probably thought I was kidding, but I said, no, I've done that on the air multiple times. Right? I've done that multiple times on the air. It's no big deal. And I'm sure he thought I was kidding, but it's not so bad. I'm a pretty big fan of the Navage thing. It really does work. Sadly, it's a matter of getting it done before I go live, because there's always something else I'm doing, and the cat's always all over the place. And now I've got this stupid second cell phone thing that's hooked up to this thing on my chest, and I can't go anywhere without that. So it's like now I've got multiple pieces of equipment that I got to carry everywhere. Yeah, sorry. It's not so bad. Keto is a good diet. Not the Mediterranean diet is really all around healthy and good. You know what? This was my thing. Like my goal was to lose weight. Hold on. Sorry, people. I just got a text that was kind of important. Just get a tool belt. That's what I need, right? Now I'm feeling a little less stuffed up, and that would make sense, right? Because we're right at the end of mucus is bad. Okay. There's only one disease, mucus. How about inflammation, or is inflammation caused by mucus? Because I always felt like there was only one. Is that the Halter monitor? I'm not sure what you're talking about, Boltnick. The Halter monitor. Oh, are you talking about on the bottom shelf? That's a time grapher. You hook a watch up to that, and it listens to the swing of the balance wheel, and then just by listening to it, it will tell you if the watch is running fast or if the watch is running slow. It'll tell you if there is a beat error on the watch, meaning that the balance wheel is hanging too far on one side before it swings back, and if so, what is the beat error, how many milliseconds, so that you can adjust that to try to get the watch. It allows you to do in about 6 minutes what used to take 6 days, right? Because you don't have to time the watch to find out what's going on anymore. Look at that. Lemmy says, have a great day, everyone. Mine started awesome for the first time in a long time. Lemmy, keep it rolling. And if you start feeling like you're slipping, or you're feeling some kind of way, reach out to somebody in your 5. I know a guy in your 5. Reach out, right? Please. It'll be a really good thing, but before you do anything, please reach out. You got this, Lemmy. You got this, man. You got this. You got this. You got this. Goddess Divine, big fan of lemon. I agree with you, man. I really do. Lemon is a good thing, especially when not done in moderation. I'm kidding. Everything should be done in moderation. By the way, I have cut all sugar out of my coffee, and I got to be honest with you, it's not as good. Thank you, Tommy Bird. You know what, Tommy? It wouldn't be the lifeboat without you. Tommy Bird was one of those cats that from the very first day that Tommy showed up, it was like his comments were just so spot on that I was like, I know. First of all, I was like, this guy, he and I had to have shared the same drug of choice. And then the more that we got to know each other, the more we realized that there was just so much that we had in common. There really was just a bizarre amount that we've had in common. And Tommy's been here through a miracle or two. And one that I remember really clearly, which was awesome. It's been, you know what, this has been a hell of a ride. We've had some really cool stuff happen. I mean, we've had some crap too. You know, it's part of the game. Part of the game. The crap still happens. But you know what? We get better at dealing with it, don't we? For real. My crew is bulletproof, man. In the last 2 or 3 days, I could not literally have been any more proud of the people that I work with here. Lemmy, I don't even know what the idea is, and I love it. But if you want to bounce anything off of me or whatever, you know where I'm at. But let's go see you make that video. We want to see it. For real. Let's get you back in the saddle again. Peace and love, crew. I'm 9 months sober today. Gotta say, I'm already having a great day. I bet you are. Hold on. This, my brother, right? This is for 9 months. 9 months is a really long time. It really is. That is a really long time. You are so well on the way. The next milestone is the year mark, right? Then we start counting in years. That's a really cool thing. Training Human, I'm so glad you found the lifeboat. You've just been such a positive person to have here. Really has been absolutely amazing. So glad you're here. Congratulations. Try Nut Pods coffee creamer. It's sugar-free, but it tastes pretty good. And one of the other questions was, what kind of coffee do I drink? I drink Keurig. You know what I mean? Like the little things that you pop in there and go, and then it just spits one out. And I think at the moment, it might be the Green Mountain Roaster stuff, you know, the Vermont company, but I'm not. I go back and forth between that. It's usually just a dark roast. It's usually a dark roast, right? And it's about a 50-50 mix of the coffee, the black roast coffee, and some wicked sugary creamer, right? And really like half and half. Like I'm not even drinking coffee. I'm usually just drinking creamer with enough caffeine in it to get me to the next 1 hour lifeboat, right? I mean, honestly, that's about what it comes down to. But now I'm just drinking the coffee. It seems strange to see the areas in the world that have the highest population of people living into their 80s and 90s and hundreds. It does seem to all be from the people you can follow at Seventh. You're right. Like what parts of the world where everybody just seems to live a whole lot longer. And you know what? You ever see anybody where they say everybody in this village seems to be living, into their 110s? How do they do it? When we asked locals, they said they spend all day on these things. They're called smartphones. From the time they get up in the morning to the time they go to bed, they stare at these little devices. Even walking through the village, staring down at the devices, often walking into trees, right? I'm sure that's what's doing it. On top of that, a steady diet of high fructose corn syrup, and whenever possible, phenyltronics, the stuff that's on the back of all of those zeros, right? Look, man, if they've got to write it in a darker text with an underline and all of those things, there's probably a good reason. If you're drinking diet drinks, read a lot about them. I'm not going to sit here and do the big, the big scare, but read about it. Read about the stuff that's in that stuff because it's not good for you. I'd rather have you drinking 33 grams of sugar if you want to know the truth. I just want to avoid hospitals. It's my number 2 goal. It's a solid goal. It really is. If your number 1 goal is sobriety, you probably will do good on your number 2 goal. All right, people. I am Captain Tommy Scoville. I will see you this evening right here. Same squirrel time, same squirrel channel. And this is a cat in a basket. Goodbye, everybody. Have a great day. We love you. Thank you, squirrel.